Listen to these cunts. They're having a go at you. So the fact is this: I used to drill for OD&E from based out of Toowoomba, and that was on a 3-stander, 220 feet up. I worked on the floor and as motorman, then just sort of give it the flick after that. Not enough money in it, but there's plenty of oil and gas around, plenty. But sorry about that. Yeah, we used to go down 5 or 7,000 feet, 7,500 feet with drill pipe, 3-standers. They were 90-foot stand, 30-footers, 30-foot drill pipe, and 9-inch drill pipe. The drill, and 10-inch collars. Anyway, it was big. I used to go up and grease the top out every day. What I'm getting at is, it doesn't matter what anybody's saying. You know, it's like logging. If you go where I go on my motorbike, you'll see there's more than enough trees to be used for what we need it for. And that's natural trees too, you know, like naturally planted. So, but what I'm getting at is, this is all bullshit about the fuel and that, you know. This has been planned for many, many, many years. Now, you got every government in the world right now working for Islam. So, the 10 kings are here of the end times. Trumpy's been anointed to bring on the end times, the apocalypse. And you got to look into the apocalypse, what comes with that. It's the 4 horsemen. See, the red horse is the war, and that's what you're seeing right now. And the red horse doesn't stop. He keeps galloping right through to the end, and then comes the white horse, because the red horse takes out the food, you know, with the spew. No one's getting in to plant or pick or anything like that. There's no deliveries. People are stuck at home, right? They've shut your country down. This is the start of the end times, right? So soon you'll see the Antichrist come. The Jews and the Catholics and a lot of the churches are waiting for him. The people think it's Jesus. Jesus came and the Jews killed him, right? Got him killed. They crucified him. And they hate him. They hate Christians. They fucking hate us. You want to see what they do? Anyway, so I don't really care what anybody says. Catholics are bad. Every single church, okay? So if you're a Christian, you don't go to church. You sit here and you do this sort of thing. Well, like my mate was over for 2 hours. We were talking about, you know, just the Bible and what have you and what's going on now, matching it all up. You don't sit here singing fucking hymns to each other. I sit here pulling bongs and bloody learning it all day, see? He's an old bloke, he doesn't pull bongs with me, that's for sure. But he knows the Bible inside out and he teaches me. So, but I know a lot of this shit anyway through, I learned a lot about all the fallen angels and all that sort of thing. I used to learn about them for many, many years and I didn't realise who they were. I just thought they were the gods and shit, you know. And I'd stare at them Egyptian tombs and the hieroglyphs on them and just try and figure them out. Funny. Just like a puzzle. Probably come up with nothing. Anyway, but what I'm getting at is this is all planned. So the red horse, all this war, right, that stops the flow of food. All the shops, shelves are gone, right? They'll empty out because the trucks can't run. The farmers can't pick and the trucks can't deliver it even if it is picked, whatever is picked, right? So the Antichrist turns up and he says, we've got to stop all this war. It's creating a bit of a hard time on the food situation. So he goes, but, you know, if you take this mark, I'll get Bill Gates and his mates to deliver you some of their food off their big farms that they stole off every bastard. And I just skip that. Yeah, so then he comes in with that and he calls in Musk and a few others and, you know, Jared Kushner might even be that man. If not, he'll be called in. But they've all got this patency on the mark, see? So, like the COVID, they all had a patency on it. And who could get you the most shots in, see? Anyway, so this is their thing. That they'll bring in the sickness too, you know, and they'll shut everybody down. This is this 15-minute city thing. It's sort of more than that, you know. That's just what people are calling it. But there's a prophetic timeline, and we're at the end of it. And the Bible, as well as all the other prophets I've read before I even touched the Bible, even the Quran, they all talk about now, right now. When you see all these signs, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so the Antichrist comes. He brings you all an answer, see? Like the CIA, they create a problem and then then you call out for an answer and they go, oh, yeah, we got an answer. So you go, oh, beauty, bring it in, put it in, we want to go back to work. Right? So that's just sort of how that works. So, anyway, he'll have the answer to war and food and everything for you and fuel, and you go, beauty, I'll take that, Mark. My daughter she's got a rag, she needs some tampons or whatever you girls have, I don't know. I come from a family of 5 boys and never really had anything to do with that business. Anyway, so, and some of you blokes will want your fucking drag cars and that, so you'll take the mark, you know. Others, you'll want to go fishing. Others need fuel to get to work, to get the food, which, you know, all the prophets say that you'll be working a whole day for a loaf of bread, the equivalent of a loaf of bread. So, you know, your whole family will have to slave away just to put meal on the table in a big pot for you all to eat. Anyway, so those who take the mark, you'll get a sickness as well, 1 or 2 sicknesses with no cure. But you'll get all your food. So those who don't take it is a Christ follower, a follower of Christ, a Christian, right? A type of person. And we don't have a country. We're just scattered everywhere. And we pass the word about the truth, you know, in the King James Bible. So a lot of the other Bibles, people go, oh, how do you know that's the right one? Well, it is, you know, and the others were created from that and distorted a little bit or added to it or just remove a bit. And then you got the church ministers and that they'll miss pages out. They won't even teach you bits, and you know. Then they'll bring a homo in and he's your new pastor and he stands aside. So a lot of people are going to leave the church in the end. And but anyway, so if you haven't taken the mark by this stage, you're not allowed to buy, sell, barter, nothing. You can't. See these over here, look at I've got a horde of electric bikes. People go, oh, you'll be right. No, you won't. You ride out in the road and a copper will arrest you and he'll crush your bike. Oh, no, he'll take the bike to the military or they'll put it in their police force or something, you know. It'll be used. And then while you're in jail, they just clean your place out and then put someone else in here. See, that's just the way it is. So you think, well, how's a Christian going to eat? There's 3 or 4 stories in the Bible on that. And even in World War II, there was Operation Manna, right? So that's how we're going to get our food, Operation Manna. And Hollywood and all that show you how food, you know, like they show you the story, the fallen angels and that. It's in Star Trek and whatever. They got their replicators, you know, that make food and shit like that. But when you read the Bible stories, you know, Jesus prays, goes outside and prays to the heaven because they're watching. And and food appears. The basket keeps getting more and more full, right? So it's like as if it, you know, replicating food in there. And then when they've had a feed, thousands of people, 5,000 or something on a hill, when they've had a feed, he tells the old mate to go and pick up all the scraps and the baskets are full. From just a few bits in each basket in the beginning to now they're overflowing and everybody's had a feed. There you go. So, you know. Then there's the 2 brothers fishing. All day long, caught nothing. And Jesus says, hey, cast the net out on the other side of your boat and you'll catch more than you can haul in. So they laughed, but they did it. And they couldn't haul in. They have to call all the other fishermen to pull it in, right? So that's telling you the fish weren't just hanging there. They were put there. Yeah. Then there's a few others. So the Dutch, this is in modern times, see, World War II, the Dutch were starving. So the Brits and the Germans did a deal. We'll fly over with food for the Dutch, the British said, with volunteered pilots, because we don't trust you fuckers. And you blokes, we're going to be coming over at 400 feet above the top of you German blokes, and we've been bombing you for the last however. And you could probably shoot us with rifles. Don't shoot. So they did that. They took off from Britain, wherever. They flew the bloody food over towards the Dutch, straight over the top of the Germans. The Germans were shitting themselves, you know, and the Brits were shitting themselves in the plane, and they didn't fire, and no bombs were dropped, and they flew, and then the Dutch were shitting themselves. See, they thought the bombs were coming for them, and the bomb doors opened up, and they just sort of, oh, we're done for, and then out came the food, the manna. And it fell from the sky, see, and it's sort of like a, you know, like how it's going to happen for us, but it's not going to come down in parachutes, put it that way. Yeah, so you'll be unmarked, and they'll be barcoding you from the sky, just like Satan will be barcoding you up the road here, or the Antichrist anyway, and his system, you know, with all the AI and that, fuck, mate. And it all comes on quick, see, they've been building it right in front of your eyes. I don't know, I must be about 140 now or something, I don't know, 60-year-old. And I've had my eyes open since I was young. I left home very, very, very young and survived just as a kid, wandering around with some carpenter's tools, and, you know, I just get work here and there, did a bit of bar work, lots of trade work and that. Anyway, and I met a lot of people, a lot of Masons. When I was in the bar, I got a lot of Masons drunk, asked them the right questions, got the right answers, because I knew what they were supposed to tell me. The next Mason you ask, you verify it, and he'd give you the same answer. And then they go, yeah, I've got a family, and that's all involved. Yeah, mate, you're a Mason, them's the breaks. And then a drunk Jew will tell you, you know, all Christians are just pigs. We sacrifice our firstborn to Moloch. And I think, what? That still goes on? That was way back, you know. So then you start watching, you know. Wow. How many people, like being a street kid, that was by choice. I come from a good household. But how many kids I've seen get trafficked, taken off the street? I was taken off by the coppers a lot, but, you know, when you get a chance, you do the runner back then. Don't do it now. I always watching everywhere. Cameras, facial recognition. So where I'm getting at is we're coming into the white horse, right, of the apocalypse, the white horseman. And that's lack of food. So you think this fuel is a problem? Now you're going to be wondering, where the fuck am I going to get me food, right? Well, that's one of the big tests on you. Is, are you connected to your bank account, your superannuation? That's already gone, right, if you're an Aussie. I knew that had happened when I used to argue about that. Fucking don't. I'm not paying super. Fuck you. I'll get a pension. Oh, no, they'll have the pension taken away. No, I'll be right. My age was the last on the pension, see. So, but I knew the government say, oh, you put in $50 a week or 50% of your wages and we'll match it. And people were doing it left, right and centre. And I'd debate with these people. They go, nah, you're going to retire with nothing. I said, no, it'll be worth nothing with inflation. Well, here we are, 40 years later, and you've all paid that superannuation. Well, it's gone. All the shares are dropping, you know. And everything drops. Money's worth nothing. Gold's worth nothing. Silver's worth nothing, right? This is probably now, but, you know, it's coming. Right, you try and sell diamonds. I've got shitloads of diamonds. That's what I do. Diamonds. Look, big chunky bits of lamperite diamond. Oh, where's the camera? Right. All different sorts. That's industrial. You just crush that up. But right here, look at that. Another big fucker there. You know, needs cleaning, putting in the acid and that. But they're a lamperite diamonds. Here's the real good ones in there. See that orange? Anyway, so I could be mining that out of the ground left, right and centre, and I've got all the gold detecting stuff and prospecting gear, mate. But so any Christian that tells you, oh, you should be buying gold now or silver, or oh, you know, buy diamonds or whatever, they're not Christians. Even though they say they are and they think they are. But if they were, they'd know that everything's going to be worth nothing now. They didn't read the Bible, did they? You know, blows me away. Blows me away. So, you know, I'm going to pull a bong now. It's what I do. While I'm smoking my weed, I learn about it, and I have visitors coming around. I minister, blow me away, mate. That the people that come around here, that I think, oh shit, he'll be easy to talk to about the Bible. So you take the easy way out. That's like preaching to the pews, someone that sort of already knows about it. So and real sensible jobs and everything like that, and position and fathers and what have you. They won't have a bar of it. And then you get some rough looking dude, mate, he's been to jail, whatever. Maybe heroin, whatever. Just potheads. And they're onto it. See, MK Ultra, back in the day, one of the findings on marijuana is those who smoke marijuana or use it or ingest it into your body because you've got receptors for it, weren't able to be brainwashed into the system. You see this shit, and then you're worried that no one else has seen it. So then you start telling them about it, and they go, "Oh, you're fucking crazy." You're just a pothead, mate. Yeah, mate. But now they're just going, "Fuck, he was onto it." Everything for all them years. I'll just duck behind the camera here for a bong. See? But I've got a magic 8-ball. Is the government lying? The outlook not so good. Should I smoke about another billy? Without a doubt. Right, I'll do that. So, I just blurted something out to a mate the other day. I just said, oh, fuel will be $8 soon, and good mate too. And he agreed it's going to be pretty radical. And I said, and after that, if it does go to $8, I said, then there'll be no fuel. But, you know, as I was saying earlier, there's plenty of fucking fuel in the ground. All the oil, mate. I drilled, right, in this one spot with this crew on this big oil rig. We drilled there, and then my hitch finished and I went back home, and in that time, I think I'd already started packing up the oil rig, and in that week they'd finished packing it up and moved it and reset it up again. So when I came back, I just flew in to the new spot, landed and fucking went to work, you know, over on the oil rig in the desert. You think, geez, everything looks different out there. Yeah. You're 200 kilometres away, but you didn't realise it because the camp's set up the same and the bush sort of looks the same, but the hills are different. And, you know, just scrubbing that. And then you find out you're on Janet Holmes' land. Janet Holmes on her land, and you're in one corner, and you went 200 kilometres. They moved it 200 kilometres through the desert, and now you're in another corner of the same property. Fucking 200 kilometres? Wow. But there's a lot of old farms all linked into that one property, you know. There'd be homesteads everywhere with probably sheep farmers like Gus Lamont's parents and grandparents, you know. Gus Lamont. That kid was either sacrificed by that Tiddy grandfather, right? Because Tiddy titty people, titty men, men with titties, what are they, transvestites, she-males or she-ites or some fucking thing, they worship Baal, the titty god, the goat-headed titty god, who is the scout fucking thing, you know, dib dib dob dob. The fucking fingers up like that, and the other fingers down. You've got a kid on each lap, and you've got goat horns and a goat face, and he's got women's boobies and dick and vagina. You know, that's him. That's Baal. And trannies are all fucking crazy, right? So they do that, and then they go into society and kill all these children. See, they're killing children, not adults. They're worshipping. They're sacrificing every one of them. Are sacrificing children to Baal. Okay, you don't feel sorry for them. So every tranny should be fucking taken out of society and put in a fucking out in the desert in a reserve, like the Indians were put in there, the poor buggers. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like they're not. This is a Christian society. So anybody who's against it shouldn't be in it. Or just comply by it, one or the other. Anyway, it's the end. So when you see all these signs, earthquakes, fucking floods, snow, all this in the wrong time, in the wrong places, in some places where they've never been, volcanoes and everything, right? It says you'll see things, amazing things coming from the sky, you know, that they've never been, that you haven't seen them since the beginning. It says that you'll see the demons. See, all this was hidden so we could get on with things, living like Christians. Otherwise we couldn't. We'd be all panicking and that, you know. So we could just ignore it all that we didn't know and just get on with life. And we did for the last 500 or 1,000 years or something. And the flood, see, the flood fucked all that off. And now they're bringing back, you know, all this mud flood stuff. Well, that's God's flood. Yeah. Then he gave us the rainbow, promised us the rainbow, right? So the homos fucking took that. That's against God. Stole his rainbow, and that's a covenant, a vow, an agreement that he will never make the world flood again. Next time when he comes back, he's coming back with fucking fire. See, amazing, eh? I didn't believe any of this. I thought it was all fucking bullshit. That's how we were brought up in my family and all my mates and everything. There's a few that I probably told them it was all bullshit, so they didn't tell me. But a couple told me and that, and they just let me come around in my own time, you know. 45 years or 50 years later, I'll just duck behind here and have another billy. Right. So I've done some pretty harsh things, you know, so just downright illegal, I suppose. Illegal's not the problem, it's the moral side of things. If things are, you know, fucking up your neighbours or whatever like that, you know. And I've done that, like parties and what have you. I don't know how many different motorbikes I had. I remember I had a 1000cc Harley Davidson 71 Sportster. No speedo or blinkers or a horn, you know. I put push bike stuff on it. But it didn't have baffles, and I had that thing fully bored out, 70 thou. It was loud, shoot flames out the back, you know. But I'd have to turn it off and coast all the way home down the road and hopefully make it in the driveway without pushing it. But when you take off, you go up the road and start it so you don't annoy your neighbours, but you're annoying someone else's neighbours. Then you roar off down the road, but, you know. Other people that play rock and roll flat out. I had mates who were just flat out drummers and they were really bad. But the ones that persevered got good in the end. Anyway. You see where I'm going, eh? So and that's what Jesus, he went through a lot to let everybody know what's coming. And he knew he was he was told the big picture, what's going to happen to him, what's coming to him, and all that he did when he was a kid and that, you know, it's amazing. And his mum, I'm in two minds about her, you know, you're not supposed to bag your mum or anybody else's either, but she made him do his first miracle. What was it? What does the modern mum do? Sends the kid down the bottle to get some wine. She made him do his. You say you're magic, are you? We're at a wedding. We're out of wine. So you think you're magical? Why don't you make that water into wine? So he did. Blew her mind and everybody else's as well. You know. Yeah. Look, you told me that years ago. I'd be going, fuck off, man. What the? Some guy made this up, and no. 66 books make up the Bible. I don't know how many authors, 46 or something. Yeah. I've got brain damage and I can't remember much, right? But when I talk about this stuff, everything just flows. My headache's gone, you know, because I've got a constant hangover from concussion and that. I've got brain cancer, so. And don't feel sorry for me, like I've had a good life, and I'd be out in the desert fucking pulling gold nuggets out here and collecting up big bundles of nuggets. Let's just pretend, right? I've got the gear to do it, and that's where I'll be going. But for what? For end times. So it's like when I went in from a cerebral angiogram. It's like God used that demonic bitch to fuck me up like this, so I'd still live and be able to tell the story about the Bible. So speaking of magical stuff, right? Check this out. Righto. So first I put it here. Now I push the button because it delays a bit. Righto. So I carved that, right, one drunken night back in the heyday when I first broke my back. Right. So I used it as a helmet. It was actually a block of timber like the one underneath it, and the TV sat on it. And then one day I got up shits with the TV and I put a sledgehammer through the TV, and I'd stare at the TV sitting on top of her, looking like that, like the log down underneath it, and I saw her sitting in the log, so I just dragged the tally off it and out over the balcony, and pulled the log down, and carved her out with a file I sharpened up into a chisel, and a piece of pipe to hit it with, a piece of wood to hit that one with, and an angle grinder. And I've got a helmet rack. It's just some rough thing of some chick wearing rolling a joint for me. But I threw it on the fire out the front, burn all my artwork, big massive art once when I was ready to move out of this place, and someone rescued it and ended up with my dad, and he put that shellac on it, painted some eyes on it, some pupils and stuff, you know. But anyway, what I wanted to show you is this thing underneath, right? So that's one of my carvings. See how it's all burnt from the fire? I sat it there like that. Anyway, this one here is just a log that was cut in the park behind me at Dorrigo. And see that face there? That's Satan, right? And there's the Vatican snake, right? These are naturally in it. These weren't carved by me, right? See that? It's just the bark. That's how the bark breaks off. And that's a rotten branch right on the tree that fell off. And that's the thing so I walk around, I can see these pictures in all the trees. So all I do is I get colouring in pencils out and just put different colours on, and all these marks here, like that one there, they're lips, right? See, they're lips. So you turn them into lips, and you know if that's a lip, well, above it's going to be an eye, right? And in the eye will be an apple, or you know, like the apple of my eye, or this thing here, that's the eagle eye, see? And then you got the British bulldog here, right? Britain, America, Rome, Satan and the fallen angels, the rotten branch from heaven, see? So you climb that tree of life all the way to the crown at the top, which is what the top of a tree is called, the crown, right? And you'll get all the way up successfully and touch the crown. and be with the crown in the top of the tree above the forest if you pick the tallest tree, right? But if you come to this branch here when it was on and it was rotten, it had some beetle in there or some fucking worm, more like it, right? Right, and you climb out onto that, you can step out on it, no worries, and visit it and quickly step back in. It's like you going into a biker club or a whorehouse or something, whatever. I'm just saying something rank like that. But or have some heroin or whatever's, ice, anything, right? You go out on that rotten branch. But if you do that enough times, you get brave and you go further out onto that branch, right? Further and further. And you think, oh yeah, if this is a good branch to be on because it's feeling good, right? You're not really looking at where you're standing in life on the tree of life. All of a sudden, that rotten branch it snaps and you fall and you plummet all the way back down to the ground again, right? And you get up, you've got to repent. And now you stand on the ground with all the worms and everything like that, and all the germs, and you got to get up onto the trunk of the tree. You got to find the roots, back to your roots. See, you've fallen all the way down to the roots, down to your roots, and you got to find your root and climb back up the tree of life and come up to this branch there, that rotten branch, and go, I'm not going to go out into that fucking nightclub again or whatever it is, right? I'm not going to do that thing again. And you climb around it, past it, and up. And when you see another rotten branch like that further up the tree, you go, fuck, I've been out in one of them. I see that rot. I'm not going out there. And you keep climbing all the way to the crown, to the Father in heaven. And that is in the mountains. That picture, it's in every tree, in the rocks. But look at that. That's a big lamproite diamond, that industrial diamond, but it's 42 kilo. See, there's pictures in that too. But all you do is you put a bit of colouring in pencil in, and bingo, bango, bongo, you can see it. But I can see it without the colouring in pencil, see? I just do that so other people can see the picture. Anyway, hang on. Yeah, so I'm really been listening to what's on in the background here. You guys might have been. I'll just piss it off. But yeah, man. So that it's stuff like that, and geography and the geology and that made me realise, man, no man made that. I didn't carve that. I carved that thing above it, but not that. All I did is colouring in pencils from up at the post office. I bought them. So make of it what you will. Like as I say, I used to feel foolish, even thinking this stuff or thinking Jesus' name, or if someone said Jesus to me, I just go, fuck off, man. Look, see that ant down there? That's me when I'm dead. He can't hear anything, can't see anything, he's dead. Everything's black. That's me. When you put me in the ground, everything's black. I'm going to get the best out of life while I can. I'll solve all my problems. Nah, you create more problems. I put all in the hands of Jesus and I don't have any problems now. Nothing. You still get the attacks, the coppers and that giving you stupid fines, or, stupid people saying stupid things about you because that's what they assume, because you've got all this, coming out of your fucking mouth, and they just go, you're too much for me, mate, I can't think of that. But it says, demons run. They run at the name of Jesus Christ. And I used to. I'm out of here, mate. Look, you're going to start that fucking talk. I'm out of here. It's, some Greek fucking wrote it all, Charles Darwin. Got a lot to answer for, although he did apologise 4 times publicly to different churches throughout the world, high up, for spreading Darwinism. Evolution. From a grub, you come from an organism. Single organism. How the fuck does that happen? Hey? just smoke billies and teach the word and ride my electric motorbikes and eat good pies and stuff like that I make and what have you. And just wait for you all to catch up. But, you know, my old mate over here, my neighbour, amazing man, he's here like he's been put here for me. He helped me learn this stuff and as well, you know, I had a lot of questions and I thought, oh, he's onto it. I'll hear him up. And so my job is to hang here now, and there's some rough heads out there, and I'm to have a yarn with them and they have been too. Lots of people come and have a yarn. A lot of people waking up, and the people you think, or people you love that you want to know, they don't want to know about. Or they go, oh, this maybe something happening, mate, but not in our lifetime. And you think, oh, you poor buggers. Just read the book. I did, and put it this way, I only read 2 other books. Psychonutrition and Brain Food. And then it's just nothing from there. And then I got internet many years later, and I do a lot of reading on that. But got a Bible, just started looking at the headings and then putting it on YouTube and letting someone read it to me. That's how you learn it, easy. And they explain it to you, you know, and you know that if you listening to certain ones, only like some old bloke dressed in brown, no guitars behind him, nothing flash, just sitting in his room, and he reads it word to word and then explains a little bit to you, you know. Says, oh, this is what it means in Latin, and you know, blah blah. You just pick it up as you go. And when you're at my age and you didn't live, you lived on the border of society and I was in the bush, mate. I've seen a lot of hieroglyphs before the internet come around. And these things in the trees and all that everywhere. I was thinking, fuck, doesn't anybody else see it? Maybe I am fucking crazy, is what I look. There's the no teeth. Yeah, that. See, I had I don't know, I went to the doctor over here and he said, oh, you got some sort of thing happening in here, cancer. And he organised, I go to Sydney and they cut into here and took out these lymph nodes and saliva glands or some bloody thing like that, and 2 different things. Sewed me up. Then all my teeth fell out over the next month. What a bummer. No more macadamia nuts. Things like that. But anyway, so then I had a cerebral angiogram and the nurse cranked that up too much and fucking gave me squamous cell cancer, which is like, fuck, once it's in your blood, I mean, it's in my brain, it's in the blood. But the doctor said, if it gets in your blood, squamous cell, he said, you're just fucked. And I guess it's everywhere now. But I get on with things, you know. That's what I mean. I'm here now working for Christ. Or if I didn't have this brain injury, I'd be out. I wouldn't be here. I know it. It'd be Western Australia or the middle of Australia or something like that. Just riding my e-bikes around with metal detectors. Look, I've got an Ultra B 50 kilowatt with a rack on the back and Dublin pegs and 82 volt back. I get 200 k's crawling around on that, around through the bush. And then you got that lightning bolt there. That's 35 kilowatt light B. They're both road registered. But soon they'll take, you know, Christians, mate, can't have these. You can't ride on the road. You can't buy, can't sell, can't barter. Doesn't matter. Our treasure's waiting after that, 3.5 years after. So when whoever, I shouldn't say who, I got my eye on one bloke, Mr. Kushner, just in case. But see, there'll be a lot of throw-offs. People think it's Trumpy. People think it's Netanyahu. You know, I think the Bible says he's going to come from, I don't know, Jerusalem. I can't remember where. I keep thinking Turkey. But it doesn't matter. He'll turn up and he'll just go, hey, I'm Jesus. Look at my magic. Then someone will pop him in the eye or something like that, and fall over dead. But then he gets up. He goes, look, I'm better now. I'm magical. Hey? And he'll be his left eye up, which is the other eye. You know, this is through the camera opposite. Left eye to you. And, yeah, and he'll go, and everybody go, oh, fuck, you're pretty cool. You're going to give us food and all that. And I can drive my car. And my daughter's got the rags. She can still get a tampon. Yeah. But you need that fucking little mark in your hand, little chip. Anyway, you can count from the day that he says he declares himself Christ, Son of God or whatever. Might say, hey, my name's Jared Kushner or Peter Smith or something like that, and I'm the Son of the Father in heaven. You know, might not say Christ. He might say, I am the Christ or something like that. Who knows? But he'll declare it, and then it's 1,040 days, or 1,240 days. Well, it's 3.5 years anyway. Add that up. Yeah, 1,240 days. And that's when Christ comes. He gets the shits, actually, sorry. He gets the shits that his little system doesn't work. And then, the mark of the beast. No, you got people not complying, and some people feeding Christians that shouldn't, and some faking the mark. You know, there'll be counterfeit marks where you just sort of sticky tape to your hand, blue tack it to your hand, hook a big goober in your hand, stick it to that and go beep, 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 beep. Get your friend to put his hand over, you know. Like kids hack things now, you know. There'll be hackers, and he'll get the shits. And there'll still be missiles flying, I suppose. So he'll get the shits. And then it's on. He brings destruction on the world then, eh? And that's when you see Jesus and the angels bringing up the 144,000 and then all the people that were living in a Christian-like manner before this time that have died, and he takes them up, and then after that those who are alive at the time don't have to die to see the Father. See, everybody else had to die and have their souls. You know, this is all trippy stuff, eh? Having to explain it, I'm sort of picturing different people that I know they're going, ooh, he's fucking out there now, old Bazzer. He's finally. This is the furthest I've seen him. Heard him. You know. Wow. I've had an exciting life. I've flown all sorts of flying machines and that without any licences. Started with hang gliders. Actually, an ultralight. And then these blokes said, you can't fly that. You need lessons. So I went out and had ultralight lessons, and then I thought, fuck it. Bought a $200 hang glider, a $200 harness, and a $200 Vario from a fella called Vern the Bird at Mount Tamborine. And I started jumping off at 1,860 feet above sea level and flying around 7,500 feet. Didn't give a fuck. My mate goes, how do you do it? And I go, mate, I'm just doing it so I can go up and learn how to fly like the birds. Watch the birds fly so I can learn how to fly. And he goes, do you realise what you just said? And I went, what? He goes, you already are flying like a bird, mate. And I thought, fuck. Because I wanted to get up there and see how a bird works and that. And I wanted to build my own, so like you fly inside a bird, you know. Anyway. Not an omni thought either. Yeah, so I thought, oh, well, can that idea. And I just kept flying my hang glider. And I flew beaches and all sorts of things, you know. Yeah. Jumped off some advanced sites up Cairns and what have you. Hovering above nudie beaches. Rainbow Beach, that was a good one. All the way down to T-Bar. But light aircraft and going out to the oil rigs, or that was a big thrill for me, was flying out and flying back for 7 hours each way. You know, pilot would go to sleep and I just sit there and watch like co-pilot. He didn't need one. He had an autopilot. I was just couldn't go to sleep, punching in the big clouds, expecting another fucking aeroplane to come out and smack into your head on in the sky. I'd be eyeballing my dinner plates like that for 7 hours. Everybody else is snoozing, the pilot's snoozing. And I'd be looking over going, oh, they're all unconscious. I'm falling unconscious, I better stay awake. No, you're just tired. And a bit of unconsciousness, you know. 9,900 feet was the window. Then we just sort of land in the desert. And you fuck off somewhere else, pick some dudes up and take them back to Toowoomba. Yeah. Then there's gyro choppers. Don't like them, but when you got nothing else to fly, you'll go up in anything, you know. You always go up with other people, except the hang gliders. You get, you know, and you just, people own these things, and fuck, you're only 2 minutes in the sky and they're going handing over, you go taking over, and now you're flying. Like that's what you want to do anyway. You go, oh shit, we're going to land here. Handing over, and he goes taking over, and he brings it in. You haven't damaged anybody's plane. Usually it costs you nothing in fuel. You just keep them, you know, because it gets a bit boring doing things on your own. Anyway, I've never been married or had kids or anything like that. All my serious relationships, I thought, well, those girls just aborted. Again, they probably weren't my kids. Yeah, so anyway, it goes the red horse, the white horse, and I think it goes the black horse, or the pale horse, which is like a khaki green sort of thing, not khaki, and that's death and all that, you know. Ooh. And then you got the black horse. Yeah. War, sickness, starvation. No, sickness, so it's white, red, I think it's pale, and then the black. Something like that. Who knows? Just go and pick up the Bible, it tells you. Get on YouTube. Yeah, and it's all underway. So the prophetic timeline, that was the hardest thing, second hardest thing to wrap my head around. First was saying, shit, Jesus is real. I'm a Christian. Does that mean I'm a Christian because I believe he's real? Fuck, I don't want to be a Christian. But everything I was pointing to, so I just said it one day. Yeah, I'm a Christian, follower of Christ. Yeah, and what was the second hardest thing? I just was about to say that I changed it from first to second. Oh, who knows? I've been talking for a while now. See ya. A few bongs, and polish some diamonds and think about things, learn a bit more of the Bible. See ya. Jesus is King.